All right, y'all, welcome to the show. We're going to have some fun today. So I have a new Donald Trump ad out against Joe Biden. And, he's back to his old bag of tricks, man. Wait until you see this ad. This is really something. Then we'll get to this really big Supreme Court case. They just decided that they're going to hear a case about homeless people and whether or not they can be criminalized. You know, they could be, like, locked up in prison for being homeless. Or, can the government come and take away their pillows and their tents and just put a giant middle finger up to them? So we'll dive into that. We also have a heckler calls out Trump for his $8 million corrupt scheme, which was just uncovered. We talked about that a couple shows ago. Then we'll get to based Marxist Pope. This was actually surprising to me. The Catholic Church has a history not only of pedophilia, which they do, but they also have a history of being kind of right-wing, or at the very least, socially conservative. Well, now the Pope is basically like, socialism? Marxism? Basedism? Maybe it's based. Think about it. So we'll talk about that. Then later on in the show, I got the MSNBC in a sad, desperate attempt to try to pump up Biden. They are going full North Korea. I mean, it is embarrassing what I'm about to show you. So hang in there for that. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively in the algorithm. It doesn't cost you anything. I appreciate it, man. And I love y'all. Thank you for listening to me run my mouth. All right, let's dive into it here. So Donald Trump released a new ad, White House Senior Living, where the residents feel like presidents. So he dumped this over on Truth Social. Let's watch.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Damn. So look, the obvious point to make is, of course, Donald Trump is really fucking old too. In fact, if he gets elected, he would be older than Biden was when he was in for his first term. So he's old as hell too. The difference is, I'm sure Trump is on record amounts of Adderall or Sudafed or whatever other upper he's decided is the way to go. And he globs bronzer on his face on a daily basis, so that appears to make him look more vibrant. And to be fair, I think he just genuinely is more vibrant. He also has his fair share of embarrassing moments in rallies where he says things that make absolutely no sense at all, along with Joe Biden. But look, to keep it real, I think if you ask 100 people or 1,000 people who is not only older, but also appears way, way older, yeah, I think most of them are going to say Joe Biden. I don't really think that's controversial to say. Is this an effective ad? Yeah, I got to give it to him. Because, look, the polls show it is an astonishingly high number of Americans that are like, his age is a real problem, talking about Biden. I'm blanking on the number right now, but I think it's over 70%, like 75% or so, say, I don't think he's going to make it through a second term. It just doesn't look like he's going to make it through a second term. And on that, do I disagree with these people? I don't think I do, bro. I don't think I do. I think he's hanging on for dear life. Now, to be fair, Trump is one Big Mac away from a massive heart attack. I think that's fair to say. So they're both really up there in age, but I think this is sort of a persuasive attack. You get the sense they're trying to hide Biden more and more. He's worse every time you see him in public. And Trump is taking advantage of that. He's hammering him. Now, the hilarious part of this is what? We just looked at the polls the other day. Nikki Haley is up in some polls, literally double digits on Joe Biden for a general election. The worst one I saw, she's up like 8 points, maybe 7. Ron DeSantis is up at least 3 points on Joe Biden for a general election. Donald Trump in the most recent poll is only up 2 on Biden, and I think he's up on average maybe around 2 or 1 thereabouts. Now, look, that's to be down to Trump at all is embarrassing. But also the fact is you probably need to win the popular vote by 2, 3, or 4% to win as a Democrat. That's what recent history shows. So it's bad, but Trump is actually the weakest candidate to go up against Biden. In fact, I think, I'm not kidding about this, I think one of the only things that can make it so Biden can win again and potentially get a second term is Trump's his opponent, and then leading up to the general election, he gets convicted of a felony. I mean, the polls also show, despite all of Biden's flaws, down at 33% approval rating, abysmal, the one thing that could save his ass, which would make general election voters flee Trump at 1,000 miles an hour, is an actual conviction on one of his 91 criminal charges, which is very likely. But man, God, sometimes he's just good at politics. I hate to say it, but it's true. Sometimes Trump is just good at politics. And this is just, I mean, it hits at something that's obviously true, right? And it's cold and it's crass and it's mean, but it's also obviously true. Like you're hitting on something where people are like, yeah, homie's old as fuck. He's like he's been in Washington, D.C. since 1789. What are we talking about here? So there you go, man. He's hammering him. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if I don't want to see it because I don't want Trump versus Biden for the general election, but it's likely going to be the case. And in that scenario, it'll be interesting to see how they go after each other. But Trump is throwing some heat here, man. It's a solid ad. It's funny. It's also dark, right? But it's landing. I think this lands. I think maybe there's some percentage of the population who would vote for Biden anyway, would be like offended by this. But I think for most people, they'd be like, usually, I have to say, usually conservative comedy is not funny. It's just like mean-spirited and stupid and really preachy and screechy. That's the worst part of it is like, they say do show, not tell for any form of art. They tell, right? And so most of the time, conservative comedy is horrible. This is an example of like, it's kind of like conservative comedy that I think kind of works. In this instance, I think it kind of works. So Trump throwing haymakers, and we're not even in the general election yet. Buckle up.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.